Welcome back, everybody. Again, I have my great friend Kendra Lewis here to kind of just talk about her whole entrepreneurial journey. Last week, she shared so much about, just taking that leap of faith. She has been an entrepreneur since 2007. Listen, Kendra, I have to share this week because I know last week you shared some amazing tips, but in 2021, you and I went to San Antonio. I had a business trip and I met you for dinner in 2021. And I just was so inspired by your story and what you've done about building up the business on YouTube and your program, the business and on that platform, but then on top of still doing your actual business of being a notary. I'm like, my gosh, woman. And you were like, Kathy, just start. You just have to start. And I don't know why I had this fear of maybe fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear that I wasn't gonna do well, all of it. And you just kept on saying, just do it, just start. And I didn't do it. I didn't start. And so last week you just said we're all going to have fear. It's not like you have this magic pill that you swallowed and you're like, I don't have any fear. I'm just going to go for it. No, you had fear. And so I do want to share. I want you to share to my listeners, please, like, talk about this because I think a lot of people, especially those who are starting out their business, they need to hear this over and over again. And so, would you share a little bit more about that?
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I want to share a quote, and
Mhm.
it's from a weird place. There was a movie, a sci-fi movie that Will Smith did some years ago called After Earth. Wasn't a big movie. Him and his son Jaden were in it. A lot of people didn't like it. I'm a sci-fi nerd. I enjoyed it. But the best thing about that movie to me was this quote that I'm going to read to you. And I think about this quote often, especially when I am feeling fear about something.
Mhm.
And the quote says, "Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is the product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not exist at present and may not ever exist. That is near insanity. Fear is a choice." I think about that quote, like that quote has been so powerful to me all of the time. And one of the things that I get asked over and over again by my students in my training program, and the thing that I see that stops people from achieving things, it breaks down to fear. And
Yeah.
people always ask me, how do I get over the fear? But the reality is, you're not. You're going to feel fear, but you just have to choose to do it scared. So I was afraid when I left my job in 2000. I was like everybody else. I went to school. I was told to go to college. I went to college. I was told to get a job. I got a job. So the thought of not working a real job was scary. I was afraid. How am I have bills. Like some of my bills was grown up. They were Williams. They weren't even bills anymore, right?
Yeah.
So how am I going to pay these bills, right? So that's something that you're afraid of. Like you said, when you're, putting yourself out there, whether it's for marketing or doing social media things, am I going to do it right? Is it going to look right? Am I going to sound right? Are people going to think I look stupid? What all you think about all of the things that can go wrong. And again, the powerful thing about that quote is those are all things that are in our imagination.
Oh my.
Our brains are just making these things up. Our brains are very powerful. And our brain really doesn't even understand that the fear that we feel is not a real danger. Like, what's the worst that can happen if your YouTube video doesn't go well? You're not in any danger. right? Your life is going to be fine. You will be fine. There's no danger. But our brain doesn't understand that. And so to try to protect us, it makes up all of these weird scenarios. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you just have to do it scared. Now, I will also say this: comfort also tends to cause people to not step out and do things that are a little scary. So I quit my job in 2007. As I've said, I had no choice but to go out and figure this out, or else I was not going to be able to pay my bills. So I had to get up. When people at the builder's office, they were my main client. At that point, they were about 90% of my income.
Yeah.
When they said that they, were basically going to give business somewhere else, I had thought about doing a training course before then. I had thought about doing other things before then, but I was comfortable.
Yeah.
Things were nice and easy, basically on autopilot. I had checks coming in all of the time. I had no reason to get out of my comfort zone and face the fear that I was feeling. But when, push came to shove and he's like, hey, we're going to not send you all of our business anymore, I had to overcome that fear. So, I'm not saying that you have to be in a do or die situation to make it happen.
Mhm.
But again, I know the reality of life. When life is comfortable, when money's comfortable, it's a little bit more difficult to motivate yourself to get over that fear. But at the end of the day, you're not going to win if you don't play. You got to go out and do it if you want to be a winner.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. Because I remember that time we were gonna have dinner for maybe a couple of hours. We ended up hanging out for like 5 hours. I
Mhm.
feel like I was like, oh my gosh. But I was so inspired by everything that you have gone through and that you had been through, and just sharing about your training program and how you started that YouTube channel. And honestly, that year, the year prior in 2020, just like you said last week, that was your you went a whole different level on financial stability. And um you paid off your home, I think, in 2020, was it not that year? I mean, I was so inspired by that, like, whoa, like, t- how do you pay off your house? I mean, forget about the car. I know how to pay off a car. I mean, pay off little itty bitty debts, but a home, I mean, a 30-year mortgage, that is a real thing. That is a huge achievement. And you did it. And you didn't let the fear stop you. And that was the thing that really inspired me. And every single time I talk about folks, when you talk to people about this Empowered Career podcast, and I always reference you, like, my one of my very good girlfriends told me, just start it. This was back in 2021, and I didn't start it. I don't even know where I would be had I started it back in 2021. But listen, it started now.
Better late than never. Better
Better
late
late
than
than
never.
never.
Mhm.
I'm doing it, and that is awesome. Let's talk about, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. When you think about real estate, yes, there's a lot of women realtors and stuff like that. But then when you think about brokers, mortgage, and all, and banking, we were in banking. That's a male driven industry. And like, how did you break through as a female entrepreneur? I definitely want to know this, because that's again another inspiration for a lot of my listeners.
So parts are male driven, but then other parts have a large female presence.
Okay. All right.
So mortgage tends to be a lot of male loan officers, the upfront salespeople, and I think it's just part of um, our learned nature as women. We
Okay.
don't like to be pushy salespeople as much. We're taught not to be that way. So
Yeah.
we tend to see a lot more men in the upfront mortgage sales part of it. But
Yeah.
in the back part of mortgage, the organizing, the paperwork, and all that stuff, it was a lot of women.
Okay.
Now, title is a very interesting part of it. So the title company, and for people who may not have purchased a home before, your lender gives you the loan, but you want to do what's called a title search on your property to make sure that there's no weird debts or liens on the property. And the title company also acts as what's called an escrow company. They're a neutral third party that handles the money between you and your lender so that nobody gets ripped off. There's somebody holding the money in between to keep both parties safe.
Yeah.
The escrow officer in title offices tend to be women.
Oh,
It
okay. Yeah.
tends to be a more female driven position. I probably see 70-30, 70% women, 30% men in title. And so signing agents, what I do kind of falls under title. Generally, the title company is who contracts us.
Ah,
And so in this industry, again, I want to say signing agent wise, it probably is more women than it is men. Now, I didn't know all of that when I first became a signing agent. I just said, I'm gonna be a signing agent. I didn't know how many women, how many men, all that stuff. I want to say I probably see in my experience about 60-40, 60% women, 40% men.
men. Okay.
And so, this is already an area where it's not weird
Sure.
for a woman to be in this position. But just being an entrepreneur in general,
Yeah.
I think a lot of women, again, the fear, you're
Yes.
afraid. And then, like I said before, a lot of women also have family pressure. Again,
Yeah.
a lot of women have children. A lot of women have husbands who are expecting them to do whatever the husbands expect to do.
Yeah.
It's like I tell people all the time, whenever I make a decision, I ain't got to ask nobody. I go to the mirror and say, girl, should we do it? Yep, we sure should. And then that's it. you know Obviously, if you are in a family, you have to take into consideration your entire family as well and do what's best for them. But there are absolutely women with husbands and children who are successful at this. There are single women who are successful with this. There are single women with children who are successful at this. So I'm not saying any of that to make any of you who are in any of those situations feel like you cannot do it. You absolutely can. I tell everybody all the time, this job is easy. Being a signing agent is easy. I get people to sign their name on papers. Like
That's
that's
amazing.
literally my job. I get people to sign their name on paper. It is not difficult. Everybody who is watching this video is well able to be a signing agent. If being a signing agent isn't your thing, you are well able to do whatever it is you want to do. Because here's the reality, ladies, we already doing it.
Yeah.
We are already generally doing our job and probably somebody else's job as well. Because again, in our society, and the expectation is for us to not only do what we got to do, but pick up the slack for someone else. A lot of you ladies who work, again, you have families. You're already working a 9 to 5, and you're also handling and managing everything that needs to happen in your home. You are well able to be an entrepreneur. You are well able to start your own business. You are well able to make videos for social media. You are well able to put videos on YouTube. And a lot of the skills that a lot of ladies have, you kind of have to get into an entrepreneur mindset to learn that even some of the basic, simple things that you think of can be monetized. I am upset with one of my girlfriends to this day because she has 5 children that she homeschooled, and her children are ridiculously smart. Like, all of them are getting master's degrees in college right now.
My
And
goodness.
so when
Wow.
COVID hit, and again, I had just started my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
I told her, start a YouTube channel and show parents how to homeschool their children. Because remember, when COVID first hit, that first year, I was praying for all of y'all because them kids was home with
It's
y'all.
true.
Okay. And y'all had to deal with your kids. So I told her, I was like, this is the perfect time. Get
Yeah.
on YouTube, make some videos. I'm like, the things that you think are simple and common sense, that parent who has never had to homeschool their child has not thought of it. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be rocket science. There
Yeah.
is something that you are already good at, a
Wow.
skill that you can use to be an entrepreneur. Kathy is one of the most loving, friendly people that I have ever met. Please don't get confused by my social media persona. I'm not like this all the time. But Kathy is wonderful and kind and loving and giving and friendly all of the time. And that's why when I spoke to her, I was like, you have an energy that draws people to you. You have an energy that you can share with other women to help them out. And the word that you picked for your business, empower them.
Yeah.
Please share that with people. So, ladies, when I say start a business, I'm not saying, go get a small business loan and spend gazillions of dollars to do something huge. You don't have to do something huge to be successful. Because what does success mean to you? For me, success was living debt free. Again, I didn't need to live in a mansion,
Yeah.
but it was living debt free and having time. Again, I didn't want to work a whole lot. So I will be honest, the past 5, 6, 7 years, I spend 80% of my time at home on my couch. I maybe work, 20% of the time. I maybe work an hour a day, maybe. Okay.
Hashtag goals.
And that was my goal, that was my goal. But again, do I drive the fanciest car? No. Do I live in the most expensive house? No. Do I walk around with a designer bag and Christian Louboutins? No. But that stuff's not important to me. So success is what you want success to be. Don't let other people tell you what success is. Determine for yourself what success is. Use that thing that's already inside of you and reach that success. You can do it. You can do
Oh,
it.
I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps. Ladies, listen to,
Do it.
if you don't listen to me, listen to Kendra. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Oh, so listen, you're so inspiring, Kendra. I love you. Thank you. But if you could give your younger self
Mhm,
some advice,
mhm,
what would that be?
mhm.
What would that be?
Do it sooner.
Yes.
Seriously, do it sooner, because I didn't do it sooner for the same reasons that a lot of us. I was afraid.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to succeed. Do it sooner. Um, and don't be lazy. Because again, I will be honest, I get lazy. So, like I said, I had people for years asking me to come up with a mentoring and a training program. And the reason why I didn't is because I was just lazy. I didn't want to. And I look back now and I'm like, if I had started my training program 5 or 10 years before I started it, like you said, where would I be now? Where would that training program be now?
Yeah.
If I had started subcontracting workout to other signing agents earlier, where would I be now? And I try not to spend that much time thinking about things like that, because you can't change the past. You can only be where you are. But if I could go back and give myself some advice, it would be to start sooner. Absolutely.
I love this so much. Listen, so many people who have been listening to you since last week and this week, I know they're going to want to follow you. Tell us where we can find you on IG, YouTube. Would you please share all of the places where we can find you? Because one, listen, if I wasn't in the space where I'm at right now, I want to be a signing agent. I want you to teach me how to make that as a side gig business. And I mean, that is awesome. Oh my gosh. So ladies, if
Yes.
you have been thinking about doing something like having a side hustle, get on Kendra's program, please. Listen to some of the stuff. Oh gosh. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So if being a signing agent is a fit for you, because again, everything's not for everybody. And I understand that. And there's some people who might be like, oh, doing that doesn't even sound like fun to me. If it does sound like something that you are interested in, absolutely, you can follow me. My social media name is Signing Agent Basics. So with an S at the end, Signing Agent Basics. You can find me on YouTube. I've got hundreds of videos at this point on YouTube showing you exactly what you need to do to become a signing agent and giving you the basics to be successful at this. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok for as long as we got it. I pretty much any social media, LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn under Signing Agent Basics. Follow me on any of those socials. Like I said, my YouTube channel has my free informational videos. My social media videos, you're going to get a little bit of the funny. You're going to get a lot of the funny. I do my funny stuff on there, but all of my funny stuff even ties back to information. So always check the captions of all of the videos that you see on social media. It may be something funny, but I promise you, I've got good information for you in there as well. And even if you don't want to become a signing agent, but you just want to see somebody that might inspire you, feel free to follow. I might help get you some inspiration and some ideas to do something else, because at the end of the day, I truly believe in the power of being an entrepreneur. I truly believe in the freedom that you get when you are your own boss and you are basically the master of your own destiny. There is no feeling better than that. And I promise you, once you get a little taste, you're not going to want to go back. There's another little quote that I saw, and it basically said, an employee's worst fear is losing their job. An entrepreneur's worst fear is having to get a job. So I'm telling you, ladies, whatever it is that you want to do, you have the power within yourself to do it. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. You can absolutely do it.
And with that, the empowered woman speaks. Thank you, Kendra,
My
for
pleasure.
joining the Empowered Career Woman podcast.
My
I love
pleasure.
you, girl. You have been an inspiration, not just to me, but I know to my listeners. You are amazing. And you guys, listeners, listen, follow her, because if you watch her social media, I love her funny stuff too. It cracks me up. So follow Kendra. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I want to empower you. I want to lift you up. Go out there and kick some booty out there today. Yes. And I will talk to you guys soon.